It's the book of Genesis, starting from the beginning. We're going to be reading the Torah, which is known as the first 5 books of the Bible, first 5 books of the scriptures. Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy. No, I'm sorry. Genesis, Exodus, um, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, or is Numbers, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. This is what we doing every Friday. Y'all willing? Bear with me. We're going to go over this. It's going to take us throughout the whole 2026. So that's the plan. Every Friday, chapters from the book of Genesis. I'm sorry, chapters from the first 5 books, starting with Genesis, until we get to Deuteronomy. So bear with me, stay with me. We're going to be breaking it down. The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. So in the beginning, the Most High created the sky and the earth. In the beginning, he created the sky and the earth. So this is the beginning of what we see. This is the beginning of everything that we see, everything that our eyes, we lay our eyes on, the sky and the earth. This is the beginning of that. This is not the beginning of nothing else. This is the beginning of heaven and earth, as far as like the sky that we see and the earth that we reside in. This is the beginning of it. This is the beginning of it. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens, which is the sky, and the earth. So this is covering the beginning of the sky and the earth, nothing else. We have to keep it in context. Keep the beginning in context. This is the beginning of heaven and earth, everything that we can grasp our minds around. We can't grasp our minds around what's beyond the heavens and how long it's been there. When you start hearing nonsense like that, just go the other way and turn it off. When you start hearing people talk about millions and billions of years and all that, that's when you go the other way. This is in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. So this is the documentary of the beginning of the sky that we see and the earth that we stand in. Just to give it context. Verse 2. And the earth came to be formless and empty. So the earth came to be formless and empty. So it was formless. It didn't have a form. And it was empty. It didn't have a form and it was empty. Or you could say the earth became formless and empty. But it was just, that's how it was. The earth was formless, shapeless, like in empty. So no one was this is the beginning where nothing or no one was on the earth. No dinos, nothing. According to the scriptures, according to the writings, this is how it started off in the beginning. Nothing existed. No creatures existed. According to the Bible. If you believe in the Bible, according to the Bible, this is the beginning of where we are. The earth and what we see above, which is the sky. This is the beginning of it. So keep it in context. It says, and the earth came to be formless and empty. Empty meaning no creatures, no alien, no dinosaur, no nothing. And darkness was on the face of the deep. Keep that in mind. Keep darkness in mind. Darkness was here first. It was dark. It started off dark. It was dark. It started off dark. This is going to be key. We have to remember that it says this, because I'm going to explain my reasons why, reasons for highlighting this. It says, and darkness was on the face of the deep. So darkness was here first. It was dark. It was no light. It was all darkness. It was all darkness. No light. Just darkness. So let's keep that in mind. It was all light, no darkness. All light, no darkness. I'm sorry. It was all dark. There was no light. My bad. I got distracted. I had to adjust some options. So there was nothing but darkness, no light. It says, and the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the water. So the spirit of the Most High was all that was there. Was the spirit of the Most High, the supreme spirit, was the only one there. In the midst of the darkness, it was earth, the heavens, and obviously water. So let's keep it in context. We have water in the beginning. That was there. We have the land, which is earth. That was there. We have the heavens that was there. And we have darkness. So that's all that was there in the beginning. The sky, it was dark. You had the earth, and then you had water. Those four things, nothing else existed. Nothing else was there. Nothing else was there. And the spirit of God, the spirit of Yah, the supreme spirit, was hovering, was moving on the face of the water. So that's where the Most High was moving. Who's this? Now, if you believe that when you look in the sky in the daytime and you see blue, if you believe that's water, which you should believe, it makes all the sense in the world that that's water up there. You look in the sky and you see that the sky is blue, and you see that it's blue because water is blue. That's water above. That's water above us. And if you look in the cleanest sea in the ocean, it's blue. And this is something, and stay with me, because a sister pointed this out to me, how when there's not, when there's no light, when there's no sun out, the sky is dark. That blue turns into darkness. The same goes for the water. That blue turns into darkness. That blue turned into darkness. The blue ocean turns into darkness. The blue sky turns into darkness. It turns dark. It turns black. So we know this is water. This is water. So it says, and the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the water. Now, which water was he moving on? I'm willing to say he was moving on the face of the water above us. He was moving on the face of the water above us. He was hovering over the water above us. That's what I'm willing to go as far as that. Being as though that's water that's above us in the sky, I believe this is depicting the Spirit of God moving on the face of that water above us. Everything was dark. It was nothing but darkness. It was nothing but darkness. Nothing but darkness, nothing but the earth, Nothing but the water, either above us or below us, or nothing but the spirit of the Most High, and nothing but darkness. It was dark. So we got that. Verse 3. And Elohim said, let light come to be. Let light come to be. And light came to be. So this is where light came to be. So darkness was first. That was this day began in darkness. The first day of the first day of the beginning started in darkness. This is why I believe each day start in darkness. This is why I believe right now in Eastern Standard Times, right now where I am, it's dark. It's 6:48. And it's, to me, this is why I believe Saturday started already, because it's dark. And based on what I'm reading in the first 3 verses of the book of Genesis in chapter 1. This is why I believe each day starts with darkness. Each day starts darkness. So today, the next day started for me. Sunset starts for me. When sun sets, the next day starts. This is why I believe the next day starts when sun sets, when sun sets, because in the beginning of time, it was darkness. It's the first day in the beginning, the very first day in the beginning of time, according to the Bible, started in darkness. The very first day in the beginning of time, according to the Bible, started in darkness. And then there was light. Then he said, let there be light. Let there be light. This is what the Most High, then the Most High said, let there be light. Let light come to be. And light came to be. So this is where I get the practice of starting each day. Each of my day begins in darkness. Like the next tomorrow. So tomorrow, quote unquote, is Saturday. It already started because Friday it's sunset of Friday right now. The sun has set. So that's the beginning of the next day. That's the beginning of the next day, because the beginning of the first day of the first day in beginning of time started in darkness. So what changed that? Nothing changed that. Nothing changed that. If the very first day in the beginning of time, in the beginning, according to the book of Genesis, in chapter 1, if the very first day started in darkness, what changed that? Nothing changed that. No one can come along and change the very first day starting in darkness. Each day the rest of the days have to start in darkness. The rest of the days had to have started in darkness. Every day, each day has to start in darkness, because the very first day of all time, in the beginning of time, started in darkness. So this is why I believe each day starts in darkness. Each day starts when sun sets. A new day starts when sun sets. This is where my beliefs stem from. I may be the only one who uses this, this reason, but according to chapter 1 in Genesis, verse 2 to verse 3, darkness came first. Darkness came before light. Verse 2, it says, and the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the spirit of Elohim, spirit of God, was moving on the face of the waters. And this is why I believe that wherever there is water, the Most High Spirit is this is where his spirit is the heaviest. Wherever there's water, whether it's the water above, which is what I believe is in the sky, what's known as the firmament, or the waters on the surrounding the lands, the seas. This is where the Most High Spirit is the strongest. Based on what I read in chapter 1 of Genesis, verse 2. It says, and the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the spirit of Elohim, spirit of God, was moving on the face of the waters. So we know that the spirit of God moves on the face of the waters. He hovers over the waters. Not only that, we know that darkness was here first. It started off with we have to say night was first. Darkness was first. The beginning of a day starts in darkness. Verse 3, and Elohim, the Most High, said, let light come to be, and light came to be. Then there was light. First it was darkness, then there was light. So first there's darkness, then there's light. That's a day. That's the order of a day. First darkness, then there's light. That has to be the order of every day. That has to be the order of every day. I know this is, something different. This is like, to most, this is strange and different and new information, but this is why this may not be the reasons of most people, but most people, like most believers, this is why they start their days off. They start their Sabbaths the day before, when the sun set. And these are my reasons. They may not be others' reasons. These are my reasons. According to the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 3, chapter 1, verse 2 to verse 3. Verse 4. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. So he didn't say he's calling the light good. He never said the darkness was good. He separated the light from the darkness. He separated the light from the darkness. And called it good. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. Let's keep that in mind. So that the darkness, he never called it good. And it's something to keep in mind, because it's like darkness, a lot of negativity in verses, the word darkness is, when the word darkness is brought up, is brought up in the negative sense. It's spoken of in a negative sense. That's why a lot of negative and a lot of wickedness and negativity goes on in the dark. Just a thought. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. Verse 5, and Elohim, the Most High, called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, one day. So darkness was here, night was here first. So night, day, evening, That's a day. That's one day. You have night, you have day, and you have evening. You have night, you have day, and you have evening. Evening where the sun is going down, and when it's fully down, that's when it becomes night. That's the next day. That's the next day. It has to be the next day because the beginning, in the beginning, it started in darkness. In the beginning of this very first day, in the beginning of creation of heavens and earth, it started in darkness. When earth was created, when the heavens was and the earth was created, that was a day. That's as soon as that it was created, that was the beginning of a day, and that beginning started in darkness. There's no denying that. That beginning started in darkness. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. That's the beginning of the day. How was it in the beginning of this day? Was it light? No. It says, and the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. Darkness was on the face of the deep. Darkness. And the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. And Elohim said, let light come to be. And light came to be. That's when light came to be, after darkness. He didn't create darkness. It didn't say that he created darkness. Darkness is already there. He had to separate the light from the darkness. He created the lights. Darkness was already here. He didn't have to create darkness. And it looks like he didn't have to create waters. Darkness and waters was already here. Darkness and the water was already here. Wrap your head around that. Darkness and water was already here. And Elohim said, let light come to be. And light came to be. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. So light was good. Light was good. He called the light good. So light is good. And if light is day, then a day is good. Not a day in the sense of a full day, but it's known when light is out, it's known to be daytime. When night, it's known to be nighttime. Even though the beginning of a day starts at nighttime. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there came to be evening. And there came to be morning. One day. Why did he say morning? Why did he say morning? That's interesting, right? Evening, morning, one day. Evening, morning, one day. So if night, so a day ends in a day may very well end in the morning. No, I'm sorry. A day may very well end in evening. That's interesting because this is where the theory of the 12 o'clock. This is why we have 12 a.m. and the day starting at 12 a.m. A next day starting at 12 a.m. Technically, that's morning, but it's dark. Technically, that's the next day, but it's dark. Where did that idea come from? I wonder. So people who believe that a day starts when the beginning of a day starts when there's light, that can't be the case because the beginning of the day started in darkness. Not only that, even now, according to time, the next day starts at 12 a.m. So according to the Bible, the beginning of the very first day and the beginning of time, according to the Bible, started in darkness. And even today, according to time, it starts in darkness when the clock hits 12. When the clock strikes 12 a.m. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, one day. Because the morning, once it becomes morning, 12 a.m., that's the day. Once the sun completely goes down. And I believe it's only according to 12 a.m. because 12 a.m. Man, that's deep, man. It got me thinking about time zones. Because what may be morning here will be night somewhere else. What may be daytime here will be nighttime somewhere else. And what I'm trying to think is I'm trying to think like if it's 12 a.m. Let's say it's 12 a.m. where I'm at. Is there anywhere else in the world where it would be 12 p.m.? How far is the gap? How wide is the gap, the time gap between time zones? That's something for me to look into. I want to look into that. Like, what's the time gap between time zones? How many hours? What's the limit on the hours in the gap of time zones? That's what I want to get into. I want to get to the bottom of that. What's the limit? How many hours is the gap and how many hours are the gap? How I'm trying to think of how to like ask this. Like how many hours are in the gap in time zones? I know there's a 3 hour time gap from Western and Eastern. Pacific. I'm not. I'm a little. Let me not get too into that. Let me not get off topic. But that is something to look. It's something worth looking into. And Elohim saw the light that it was good. Elohim separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, one day. One day. And Elohim said, let an expanse come to be in the midst of the waters. And let it separate the waters from the waters. So that could be the separation of the waters above and the waters beneath us. That could be the separation from the waters above and the waters beneath us. That's how that separation may have this may be describing the separation of the waters of the heavens and the waters of the earth. And Elohim said, let an expanse come to be in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And Elohim made the expanse and separated the waters which were under the expanse. Under the expanse, these are the waters where we have the earth's waters, the seas. And Elohim made the expanse and separated the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. The waters above the expanse. That's the waters above what is known as the firmament. That's the waters above. So he separated the waters from above he separated the waters above from the waters under the earth. And it came to be so. And it came to be so. Verse 8. And Elohim called the expanse heavens. So this is what separates the waters above the heavens from the waters below the earth. This is what the scriptures is describing. The scriptures is describing what we see when we look in the sky, the blue sky. That's water. What separates that? The heavens, the sky separates that. What's known as the firmament, the sky, the heavens separates that from the earth and the waters that surround us that surrounds the earth, the waters beneath. And Elohim called the expanse heavens, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the second day. So evening, morning. He doesn't this he never says that morning is day. He never said morning was a day. He never said morning was light. Let's keep that in context. Let's keep that in mind. He never said, it's never described as morning being light. As we know, from 12 to whatever sun rises, whether it's 6, 7 in the morning, it's dark. It's dark. It's darkness from whenever sun sets to whenever sun rises. So whenever sun rises, I have to consider that being day. Whenever I see day, that's day. Not a day, but day. That's daytime. I can't call that, I can't necessarily call that morning. Once I see day, that's the big. Forgive me, bear with me. It got me in thought right now. I'm just trying to make sense of it. I'm just trying to carefully dissect what is being read. And Elohim called the expanse heavens, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the second day. So, evening, even though it doesn't say, evening is evening is when sun sets. Evening is like not when sunset, but when the sun is setting. That's what we know evening to be. When sun is setting. So the sun starts to set even before, let's say the sun starts to set at like 12 p.m. So when 12 p.m., when the sun is starting to set, who's to say that's not evening? That's not the beginning of evening. And when the sun is nearing setting, getting closer to setting, who's to say that's not morning? It's not described. That's something else that we could get into. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to comment. Feel free to send me a message where it says, anywhere it says morning, anywhere there's a connection between morning and daytime, like sunlight. Because morning could be dark. Morning could be darkness. Morning could be before 12 a.m. Morning could be between 9 a.m. and 12 a.m. Morning could be between even earlier than that. Our good evenings, what we know as being good evenings, may be good mornings. So the nearing sunset may be morning. Like when you see the sun setting, the skyline and all that, the sun setting, that may be morning. Morning, what we know as being the beginning of the day may be the actual ending of a day. Just a thought, man. Don't let me, I'm just saying, correct me if I'm wrong and show me where the scriptures make a connection between the word morning and light being connect in the same sentence. That's something for us to look into. And Elohim made the expanse, and separate the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse, and it came to be so. And Elohim called the expanse heavens, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the second day. And Elohim said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it came to be so. And Elohim said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together. So everything was submerged. The dry land was submerged. Obviously, because the Most High had to say, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it came to be so. So if he had to say, let the dry land appear, obviously the dry land wasn't, the dry land could not be seen. It could not, you couldn't see it until he said, let it appear. And it came to be so. Verse 10, and Elohim called the dry land earth. So he created it, but it was underwater. He created this dry land, but it was underwater. And he had to move the water in one place in order for this dry land to appear. Let's keep it in context. And Elohim said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. So if he had to let the dry land appear, it wasn't in a place where it could be seen. And it came to be so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he called seas. So the water that he collected in one place, he called the seas. He called the seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. So the Most High, let's keep in contact. The Most High named these waters the seas, according to the scriptures. Now the root word of seas could be something else. The root word of seas could be something else. Let's see. Why not? Let's figure it out. Let's see what the original word was. We got time. This is the concordance, by the way. Three five 42. 3542. That's the concordance number. Three five 42. So the original word means yam, yam, yam. So see, the word for seas is yam. Either yam or yam. Yam or yam. That's Arab. That's Arab. That's Aramaic. Yam. Yam, yam, or yam. Sea, seashores, the west, the direction of the Mediterranean Sea relative to the Near East. By extension, a large container for holding water. The recurring image of the sea as a terrifying danger and opponent of the Lord has its source in the sea. Yam, as a hostile Canaanite god, sea. West, seas, seashore. River, western coast, distant shores, eastern, western lake, overboard, seafarer, seaman. Yam is the Aramaic word for seas. So this is what the Most High named it. The Most High named it Yam. He named it Yam, seas. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he called seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. Let's see what he called the earth. I'm pretty sure that he called the word Eretz. This is the name that the Most High gave the earth. Let's be sure. I remember it being Eretz. But we're gonna go make sure. $738 is the number. I'm sorry. $824 is the number. Wait. That's not right. It's not 824. It's interesting that it's not showing the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 10, where it says he named nope, that's not it. Where it says he named the dry land. That's something to look into. I'm pretty sure it says Eretz, but it is not showing in my concordance. Maybe it's my concordance. But I believe the word is Eretz. I remember reading that the dry land is known as the Eretz. Trying to find where it would say Eretz. Something to look into. It's interesting, but I believe I'm pretty sure that it's Eretz. But we know that the Most High named the dry land where we reside, and He also named the waters. He also named the night, the darkness. He named the darkness night, and He named His light day. And he named the expanse the heavens. The expanse above us, he named that the heavens. That's the sky. So these are the names the Most High gave, the wonders of the world. Elohim said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it came to be so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he called seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim, verse 11, and Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, and the plants that yield seeds, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth. And it came to be so. So once he made dry land, he created the grass. He first created grass. So this land had no grass. The Most High created it. This land had no plants. The Most High created it. Plants that yield seeds. This is likely vegetation, vegetables. Plants that yield seeds, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind. So he created the fruit trees, fruit and the fruit trees. The plants that yield seeds, likely the vegetables, and the grass. This is what the Most High created. Who's to say a whole day isn't morning now that I think about it? And the night being evening or part of the day. I'm sorry, I'm still on that. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. Believe we're gonna double back on that. But and Elohim said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it came to be so. Elohim called the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he called seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass. Grass became the plant that yields seeds, vegetation, vegetables, and the fruit tree that yields fruit. Fruit came about according to his kind, whose seed is in itself. So whose seeds is in itself. So these fruits had seeds. These are fruits with seeds. And it came to be so. And the earth brought forth grass, the plants that yield seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. Elohim saw that it was good. So he calling this is good. This grass is good. The vegetation is good. The vegetables. The fruits are good. The trees are good. He called this good. He called the waters good. The seas is good. The dry land was good. Earth is good. Light was good. So this we got to keep in context what he called good. Everything wasn't called good. First thing that he called good was the light. And Elohim saw the light that it was good. First thing he called good. Second thing he called good was the dry land, the earth, and the seas. Those that's the second things he called good. Second and third things he called good. Then the grass, the vegetables, and the fruits and its trees. Elohim saw that it was good. This is what the Most High considers good so far in his creation in the beginning. Verse 13. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning. The third day. That's so interesting, man. Evening may very well be before the morning. The morning, what we know as being the morning. And morning may very well be what we know as the evening. Wow. Ain't that something? Morning is actually evening, and evening is actually morning. Just a thought. He never said until you can show me I'm gonna look into it. Verse 13, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the third day. Verse 14, and Elohim said, let lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens, to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times, and for days and years. Verse 15, and let them be for lights in the expanse of the heavens, to give light on the earth. And it came to be so. And Elohim made the two great lights, the greater light to run, and Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. This made me think like all our light may not be coming from the sun, because he said, "Let there be light," and that was light was known as day, and he, day existed before this great light, and Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. So we're talking about, we have one have to assume that this is referring to the sun and the moon, the sun being the greater light and the moon being the lesser light, to rule over the night and the day, and the stars. So the lesser light rules the night and the stars. Verse 17, and Elohim set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth. So he set them in the expanse of the heavens, the skies, as it appears to this day. What lie has this scripture told so far? What lie has these scriptures told that doesn't, reflect what you're seeing with your eyes, your own two eyes? What you look up, and what do you see? In the day you see the greater light, which is what is known as the sun. At night you see the lesser light, what is known as being the moon. And you also see the stars. And Elohim set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the fourth day. And Elohim said, let the waters teem with shoals of living beings, and let birds fly above the earth on the face of the expanse of the heavens. And Elohim created great sea creatures and every living being that moves. So he created great sea creatures. We don't know what those great sea creatures may be. We don't know if we've seen them all. And Elohim created great sea creatures and every living being that moves, every living being in the script, every living being in the seas, he created. With which the waters teemed, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. So he saw that these sea creatures were good, and he also saw that these birds were good. So the birds he considered good, and the sea creatures he considered good. Verse 22, and Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and increase, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth. So this was his instruction to the sea creatures and the birds. Be fruitful and increase. Be fruitful and increase. Verse 23, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the fifth day. Verse 24, and Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living being according to its kind, livestock, and creeping creatures, and beasts of the earth according to its kind. And it came to be. We don't know what these creatures were. We don't know what these beasts were. We don't know what these creeping creatures were. We don't know what these livestock were. We may have an idea from what still remains, what we do see, but we may not. We don't know how they looked and how big they were, how they were when they were created. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth according to his kind, livestock according to its kind, and all that creep on the earth according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. So he called these livestock, these beasts, he called them good. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over all the creeping creatures that creep on the ground. And Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim, he created him. Male and female, he created them. So this image is in the image of Elohim. Is Elohim flesh or spirit? Elohim is spirit. Last time we checked, it says the spirit of Elohim, and the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. Flesh can't move on the face of the water, so our flesh isn't the image he's referring to. He's obviously speaking about the spirit within us, the breath of life spirit within us. That's the image. That's the image that he made. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. So these are spirit. This is spiritual. This is a spiritual. This is a spirit being. This is a spirit image. Let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over the earth, over all creeping creatures that creep on the ground. And Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim, he created him. Male and female, he created him. He created them. And Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said to them, be fruitful and increase, and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over all creeping creatures on the earth. And Elohim said, see, I have given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the earth, on the face of the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it is for food. Every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it is for food. So that was our food. That was our food. Still is our food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to every creeping creature on the earth, in which there is a living being, in which is there is a living being. So the living being is the living spirit within. That's the spirit. That's the breath of life spirit within us all. Every green plant is for food, and it came to be. And it came to be so. Every green plant is for food. Every green plant. That's interesting. Every green plant is for food. Excuse me. Verse 31, Elohim saw all that he had made, and see, it was very good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the sixth day. Evening, morning. Chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their array. And in the seventh day, Elohim completed his work, which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day. So he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. So this is where the seventh day come from. Seventh day of rest. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and set it apart, because on it he rested from all his work which Elohim is creating, which Elohim in creating had made. So the Most High needed rest, like I need rest. It's the seventh day, it's Shabbat. But I'm going to get us through this. Y'all willing? And Elohim blessed the seventh day and set it apart, because on it he rested from all his work, which Elohim is creating, had made. So it was in Genesis where he set apart the Sabbath day, the seventh day, Saturday. All his work which Elohim creating, he made. And we see that the Most High himself seeks rest from his work. And this is all he asks us to do. It's to seek rest after we work 6 days. To work 6 days and rest on the seventh. It's a mandatory commandment. It's mandatory that we do this. Work 6 days, labor for 6 days, and rest on the seventh. This is all the Most High wants us to do is do what he does. Do what his son did. Do what he did. Do what his son did. And you will be known as being his. This is how he identified his people. This is how he identified who's with him, who's against, and who's not. Elohim blessed the seventh day and set it apart. Blessed the seventh day and set it apart, because on it he rested from all his work, which Elohim in creating has made. Verse 4, there are the births of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahuwah Elohim made earth and heavens. These are the births of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahuwah Elohim made when Yahuwah Elohim made earth and heavens. Now no shrub of the field was yet on the earth, and no plant of the field had yet sprung up. So nothing was grown yet. The seeds were planted, but nothing sprouted yet. It had to grow. Everything had to grow. Nothing was there yet, though. Nothing grew. He planted the seeds, but nothing grew. Nothing new. Nothing grew just yet. But he knew he needed someone to work the land. Now no shrub of the field was yet on the earth, and no plant of the field had yet sprung up, for Yahuwah Elohim had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no man to till the ground. So he had not yet sent rain to the earth. And there was no man to till the ground. Wow. It was a dry earth. But a mist went up from the earth and water, but a mist went up from the earth and watered the entire surface of the ground. And Elohim and Yahuwah Elohim formed the man out of dust. I'm sorry. Yeah. But a mist went up from the earth and wasted the entire surface of the ground. And Yahuwah Elohim formed the man out of the dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils breath of lives. And the man became a living being. This is how we become living beings, through the breath of God. Through the breath of God, this is how we become living beings. Activating the breath of life spirit within us. It's the breath of God. And breathed into his nostrils breath of lives, and the man became a living being. Like I'm woke, I'm conscious. The man became a living being. This is how we become conscious. And Yahuwah Elohim planted a garden in Eden to the east, and there he put the man from he had formed. So the Most High put Adam in this garden. Adam wasn't born in this garden. He put him there. Adam wasn't born in the Garden of Eden. He was put there. He was placed there. He was placed there. And Yahuwah Elohim planted a garden in Eden to the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And and out of the ground Yahuwah Elohim made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight of good for food, with the tree of life in the midst of the garden. And it came in the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So, and out of the ground Yahuwah Elohim made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, with the tree of good, with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So this tree had the knowledge of good and evil. This ancient tree. And the Most High created it. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden. And from there it divided and became 4 riverheads. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. And God of that land is good. Bdellium is there. And the Shalom stone. And the Shoham stone. Whatever the Shoham stone is. Verse 13. And the name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one surrounding the enter of Cush, of the land of Cush, surrounding the entire land of Cush. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Cush. That's a big home. That's the big river. And the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided and became 4 rivers. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. Bdellium is there, and Shoham stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. It is the one which goes toward the east of Ashur. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. And Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to guard it. So he took Adam and put him in this garden to work it. Adam wasn't already in the garden. Adam wasn't created in the garden. He was put there to work it. He was put there to work it. So Adam was put there to work the garden. And Elohim took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to guard it. Work it and to guard it. And Yahuwah Elohim commanded the man, saying, eat of every tree of the garden. Verse 17, but do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For in the day that you eat of it, you should certainly die. So in the day, you should certainly die. And like, obviously it wasn't that day. It wasn't that very day, but like, it gave him an expiration date that may not have been that may very well not have been until he ate from the tree. And Yahuwah Elohim said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I am going to make a helper for him as his counterpart. And from the ground, Yahuwah Elohim formed every beast of the field, and every bird of the sea, of the heavens, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called each living being, that was its name. That was his name. And whatever the man called each living being, that was his name. Verse 20, so the man gave names to all livestock. So the man gave names to all livestock, and to the birds of the heavens, and every beast of the field. But for the man there was not found a helper for him as his counterpart. So he named, this is where Adam started naming. He started giving names to the living beings. But still no counterpart, still no helper. Verse 21, so Yahuwah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall on the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. And the rib which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from the man, he made into a woman, and he brought her to the man. Like, where did the Most High go? Where did the Most High take this rib to create the beautiful creation of a woman? He didn't say this woman came from the dirt, the ground. This woman was special. The woman was special that he created. Yes, the woman stemmed from the rib. Yes, the woman started out as a rib of Adam. And the rib which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from the man, he made into a woman. He made this rib into a beautiful creature that we know as the woman, as being a woman that gives birth to every other creature, that gives birth to all creations. That's something to think about. Like, where was the woman created? It shows how the man was created from the dirt, planted like a plant. We know that. And from the ground of Yahweh, and from the ground Yahuwah Elohim formed every beast of field, every bird, every heaven. But fast forward, and whatever the man called, it said, I'm sorry, we're trying to find where he created. And out of the ground Yahuwah Elohim made every tree to grow pleasant. So we're trying to find where he made the man. And Yahuwah Elohim formed the man out of the dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils breath of lives. And the man became a living being. Where did he make this first woman? He don't describe making the woman like that. He doesn't describe making the woman like that. He doesn't describe making the woman and, forming the, he doesn't describe how he formed the man out of the dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils. He doesn't describe the woman like that. Only description he give of creating the woman is, and the rib, which it says, so Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall on the man, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. And the rib which Elohim had taken from the man, he made into a woman, and he brought her to the man. So it was the Most High who he created Eve and introduced her to Adam and Adam to Eve. Make you think about who he has to introduce to you, or who he has to introduce you to, or introduce them to you. It will be the Most High who brings a woman to the man. According to, just a thought, we're going to see other cases how women were sought, but in the rib which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from the man, he made into a woman. He brought her to the man. And the man said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one is called woman, because she was taken out of man. So womb man, like womb, because she was taken out of man. Verse 24, for this cause a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. One flesh they shall become. So that's that was the intentions of the Most High. Is for man, woman to become one flesh. And but before that, for this cause, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So it should be a time where the man leaves his father and mother and cleave to his wife. So once you find a wife, you have to cleave to her and leave your mother and father. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, yet they were not ashamed. They were both naked and not ashamed. They didn't know they were naked. They didn't know what nakedness was. They thought they were just creatures, almost like a dog is not ashamed of being naked, clothesless. Dogs are not, female dogs, male dogs are unashamed of, because what they don't know what nakedness is. They don't know what nakedness is. It's the ancient knowledge of evil that explains what that is. Verse 3. And the Nahash was more crafty than all the lives of the field, which Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, is it true that Elohim has said, do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the Nahash, we are not to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden. Elohim has said, do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. That's what the Most High said to them. She obviously was aware because she explained that to the serpent, to the Nahash. So she was aware of where and where not to eat. And the Nahash said to the woman, you shall certainly not die. For Elohim knows that in the day you eat of your For Elohim knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for fruit, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. So Let me keep reading. Then the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewn fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. So this is how they became to know that they were naked. Through the ancient knowledge of good and evil. So they were, they were moved to make clothes, to clothe themselves. And they heard the voice of Yahuwah Elohim walking about in the garden in the cool of the night. In the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah Elohim among the trees of the garden. So they hid themselves because they were ashamed. They was hiding from the Most High. And his voice doesn't say he was walking. His voice obviously calling out to them. And Elohim called unto Adam and said to him, "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself." So he heard the Most High voice. This is the first dialogue between the Most High and Adam, speaking to each other. So we see the Most High spoke to Adam as if he, as if he'd known them personally, and he did. He created them. And Elohim called unto Adam and said to him, "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself." And he said, "Who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat?" And the man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree and I ate." So this is the woman you gave me. She gave me fruit from the tree to eat it. Now, it doesn't necessarily say that she explained where she got the fruit. Adam may not even known that he may not have known that he was eating fruit from that tree. He just happened to take the fruit from her and ate it. He may not known that it was from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It doesn't say she told him. It doesn't say the Nahash was speaking to Adam as well. It doesn't say that he was in the midst or just, it doesn't say any of that. It just say the Nahash, the serpent, was talking to the woman. and she just happened to eat and let her husband eat. And Elohim called, I'm sorry, and he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked. So I hid myself. And he said, who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you that you should not eat? And the man said, the woman whom you gave to me, I'm saying the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree of life, and I ate. And Yahuwah Elohim said to the woman, what is this you have done? And the woman said, the Nahash deceived me, and I ate. And Yahuwah Elohim said to the Nahash, because you have done this, you are cursed more than all the livestock, and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you are to go and eat dust all the days of your life. And I put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. That's interesting. So he's either talking about the seed of the serpent, the snake himself, or the enemy. He shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel. To the woman, he said, I greatly increase your sorrow. So this is what he did. This is the curse he described for the woman. He starts off by saying he greatly increased the sorrow of the woman. So this sounds like depression. This sounds like emotions, mood swings. This explains, the emotions of a woman and what she has to deal with, which is which one has to believe is the curse that's given in this chapter. Chapter 3, verse 16. To the woman, he said, I greatly increase your sorrow. I greatly increase your sorrow. So women, this is the ancient curse of Eve that you deal with when it comes to mood swings, emotions, depression, anxiety, all of that. Anger. It's the ancient it's the ancient curse of Eve that was given to Eve in the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 16. So this explains your mood swings. This explains your depression, your anxiety. This explains your frustrations. This explains that. The ancient curse of Eve is what all the Eves of today are dealing with. To the woman, he said, I greatly increase your sorrow. This is why you feel sad a lot of times. It's the ancient curse of Eve. To the woman, he said, I greatly increase your sorrow and your conception. bring forth children in pain. Bring forth children in pain. And your desire is for your husband. And he does rule over you. So your desire will be for your husband. This explains why you desire a husband or your husband. When you have one, you desire him. This explains that. That's the order of it. And we have to allow you to desire a husband has to allow you to desire him. And it's his duty to rule over you. And if he's not ruling over you and not allowing you to desire him, he's not fulfilling your curse. So you'll be unsatisfied or unfulfilled because your curse has to be fulfilled. Your curse is to desire your husband, not the other way around. And for your husband to rule over you. Your curse is for your husband to rule over you, for you to desire him, for you to deal with birth pains, and to deal with increased sorrow. Increased sorrow. These are the ancient curses of Eve that all women of today is battling. It's not your fault. It's not something wrong with you. It's not that you're this or that. It's your curse. It's every woman's curse to desire her husband and her husband to rule over her and to deal with birth pains and to have increased sorrow, depression, anxiety, mood swings. It's not you, it's the curse. Verse 17, and to the man he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, do not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you are to eat of it all the days of your life. So this is our curse. This is the man's curse. It's the man curse to toil. Toil to eat all the days of his life. He has to work to eat all the days of his life. This is the curse of the man. Why? Because he listened to the voice of his wife. He let that override the voice of his creator. You can never let the voice of your wife override the voice of your creator, the voice of your maker, the voice of God. Husbands can never allow the voice of their wife to override the voice of their creator, the Most High. And this is what Adam did. He let his wife override the Most High. So now every man today is cursed to toil, to work for what he eats. This is why we are we feel incomplete and out of place if we're not working. This is why man is, driven to work. This is why man has a drive to work. Like he this is what we need to be doing. This is why we work all the time and look to work and look to make money, be looking to do some work, because that's our curse. We can't help it. Just like it's the curse of a woman to be overly emotional, overly sorrow, overly sad, overly depressed. It's her curse. It's the curse of Eve given in the book of Genesis chapter 3 verse 16, and it's the curse of man, curse of Adam, to work for what he eats. This is our curse to this day. Every Adam of today, every man of today is cursed to work for what he eats. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you are to eat of it all the days of your life. So cursed is the ground because of us. So the ground is cursed. Adam then got the ground cursed. It says, cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you are to eat of it all the days of your life. So the ground is cursed. And what we eat from it is what we eat. That's all we're going to get. And the ground shall bring forth thorns and thistles for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you are to eat bread until you return to the ground. By the sweat of your face. So that means we're working hard. We're overworking ourselves to eat bread until you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you return. So we're dust. This is what the flesh is made up of. And the man called his wife's name Hawa. That's the Hebrew name that was given to Eve, Hawa. That's the Hebrew name Adam gave to Eve. Because she became the mother of all living. And Yahuwah Elohim made coats of skin for the man and his wife and dressed them. So I can't help but to look deep into that verse. Like, did we not have skin already? And he gave us coats of skin. Were we walking around literally like flesh? I'm sorry, were Adam and Eve walking around in literal flesh, red flesh beings before the Most High gave them coat? That's interesting. I'm not sure of that. And Yahuwah Elohim made coats of skin for the man and his wife and dressed them. Whatever that means is interesting. Could he be talking about coats of skin of another creature? Possibly, likely. He doesn't specify what that whose skin that was. It may be our own skin. It may be the skin of. It may be their own skin, or it may be the skin of creatures to wear as clothes. Verse 22, and Yahuwah Elohim said, see, the man has become like one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put out his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Ding, ding, ding. Here's the plot. The Most High is speaking with someone. He's speaking with someone or someones. He's speaking with someone or others. And coming up with a plan on how to restrict the man from the tree of life and eating from it to live forever. That was the mission immediately after. Is to restrict the man from the other tree, which is the tree of life, where you eat and live forever. Where you eat and live forever. And this is what he came up with and shared it with someone or others. The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 22. And Yahuwah Elohim said, see, the man has become like one of us. So the serpent wasn't a complete lie what the serpent was saying. Because the Most High pretty much made it valid by saying, saying what the serpent said. Basically, you'll become like the Most High, knowing good and evil. So it wasn't completely false what the serpent was said to Eve. And Yahuwah Elohim said, see, the man has become like one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put out his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. 23, verse 23. So Yahuwah Elohim sent him out of the garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. Verse 24, and he drove the man out, and he placed cherubim at the east of the garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. So the tree of life is likely to be guarded to this day by a cherubim, which is likely a messenger, some form of angel, servant of God. The Garden of Eden is being guarded by this servant, this messenger, this angel, this cherubim, and a flaming sword which turns every way to keep Adam and anyone else from entering, eating from the tree of life and living forever. So this is where the Most High decided that we're not to live forever. Where he decided Adam shouldn't live forever, and no one after Adam is to live forever. As far as according to how he and who he's associating with in this plot to restrict Adam, according to how they live forever. It's one thing to know knowledge of good and evil like us, but to live forever like us, nah, we can't have that. That was the book of Genesis, chapters 1 to 3. Any comments, any questions? Just got finished reading the book of Genesis from chapter 1 to 3. And if there's no comments, if there's no questions, I'm going to bless us out according to the blessing given in the book of Numbers, chapter 6. And I may get some rest and come back either later on tonight or early in the AM, most likely, because I'm beat. It's Shabbat. It's the day of rest. Time to sleep. Barak, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. May Yahuwah baruch you and guard you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. May Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Until later, peace, love, Shabbat Shalom, peace and love.